Hi guys, welcome back. It's UK here. You may notice something slightly different. I've managed to hook my phone up on top of my computer monitor. I hadn't realised, it was pointed out, that apparently it looks like I'm looking down on you all when I'm doing my videos, holding my phone in hand. I hadn't realised that. So I'm going to try this. Hopefully it won't fall down at some point during the vid. The only problem I've got now is my monitor reflects in my glasses, so I might have to sit here like this, like a nerdy professor. And also you can see how messy my room is. Anyway, welcome back. It's UK here. With a video about online gaming. I'm sure I touched something on this during 2020's RPG a Day month. I couldn't find the actual vid to see what I put before. But we have, for our local gaming society, we have a Facebook page. And somebody recently posted on our town's Facebook page that they were just getting into D&D 5th. And they were looking to try and find a group for the moment, online play. So I got them to sign up to the group. And it made me think, as a suitable topic, what people's experiences were with online gaming. I've only really been involved in it in two occasions. The first was about 20 years ago, when 3rd edition D&D came out. White Wolf had an online Java chat that they did for their Scardland setting that was put out by Sword and Sorcery Studios, which was their fantasy arm, which is was for the Scardland setting. And I actually used to play on that, and it was on these little Java windows. You had various rooms that were permanent, and you could create temporary ones for you and your characters, or if you were just role playing. It was largely freeform, and the DMs could create rooms again that were temporary, but they could take you away as a locked room so that you could do a scenario away from everybody else. You'd create a character on there, but you didn't ever do anything with the character sheet. The DM rather, always had to do it. And after probably about a year of playing on that, I actually became a DM for them, which was really cool. Again, only lasted about a year before matters got in the way and I gave up. That was my first introduction to online gaming. And I loved it, I'll be honest with you. I had a character on there that I kind of wish, in hindsight, not that there's anything I could do about it, that I'd be able to play in a normal campaign. I had a rogue, a female human rogue by the name of Yaya, who ended up becoming a rogue ranger. As sort of just how the game progressed, really, it sort of worked for her. And I had another character, and to be fair, I loved the character of Yaya. I really got into that, and I even had people compliment me when they realised I was actually a bloke gamer. How they actually thought I was a woman in real life, because I didn't play this character apparently in the way that men generally play female characters. So I took that as a big compliment. And this was a character I thoroughly loved. I had another one who was a sorceress going dragon disciple called Cinnamon, who I had this whole backstory for her, that her father was actually a red dragon, and that's how she got her sorcerer abilities. I never really decided whether he was alive or dead, but she used to talk to herself as though she was talking to somebody else, and if anybody asked, she always said that she was talking to her father. And this sort of thing was really cool. And then when she got to the point she could take the Dragon Disciple Prestige class, she stopped talking to this imaginary person and she became this half dragon thing. And this sort of thing worked really, really well on a chat, because you could log in when you wanted to, you could just play when you wanted to. If you could get a scenario from a DM, or even if you just played for the fun of it with another player. A lot of players would create an NPC login that was for them just to run games. You wouldn't get anything out of it. There'd be no XP, there'd be no treasure, no rewards, but it was always quite cool. And it meant you made friends, really, and we had quite a few. I had quite a few friends, and I got some of my gaming buddies to play as well. And when that sort of fell apart at the end, a group of other people left the site, and they looked into starting their own one. They wanted me involved. It didn't quite work out. They had their own mind on what their setting was going to be, and I actually thought it was quite terrible. They wanted to do. They wanted to use the same Java system, by the way. And they wanted to do this world where evil had won, and the characters dwelt in this hidden city, and there was demons and evil things roaming the land, and you were supposed to be trying to fight the good fight. And and it was, I don't particularly like the evil has won campaign ideas. When that fell through, they took on a campaign idea that I had, and that I had been working on as a 3rd edition D&D campaign setting, called Icehaven. And the idea that it came about, in fact, I'm going off book here. It came about because I had actually just watched for the first time the movie Armageddon, and I had this idea of what would happen to a fantasy world that got hit by an asteroid. And having I don't know what you call it, an interest, in sort of like an Ice Age setting. I had the idea that this asteroid fell to Earth on the other side of the planet, and it's basically a couple of hundred years later, and everything is in this frozen wasteland, and there's one sort of city that sits on top of these geothermal vents. And we actually got this up and running. They used this, and we had it running for a couple of years. I had to drop out for various reasons, and I think it died after about a year. I think mainly because they had to subscribe to it, because you had to pay for this Java thing. But that was really cool. This Java system, it worked quite well. And the fact that you could just log on whenever, and if there were players on, you could just sit there talking in character and spend hours just role playing. It was awesome. It kind of lacked a little bit in directness. It's not the same as sitting across a table from somebody, but you made some good friends out of it, and we had some good adventures and a good laugh, and it was cool. I don't know that these days I would have the time to sit down and do anything like that. I used to spend hours and hours playing that. But the only other thing I've done, and this is fairly recently during the pandemic of 2020, was online play using Roll20, which is a website that's set up so that someone logs in as a games master. They can set their own maps. They can use like little pawns to represent characters, like little icons on the map. Sorry, I'm looking over here because my camera's this side, but I look at me. I'm sorry if that gets a bit confusing. I'll do my best. And you can set this sort of thing up and do it in layers. And I did look at it, and from a GM perspective, it's really, really awkward and complex. And I just first play with it, I just couldn't be bothered. I looked at it, I came back a couple of times, and it was just far too much hassle. From a playing perspective, because we used this to play some Pathfinder Society, it was okay. There's some nice elements to it. The GM can set things up so you don't see the whole map. Wherever you move your icon, your mini as it were, it shows you what you could see. So you get like a circular view, and if there's a wall marked, then the view doesn't go past the wall. And it's, from that perspective, it was really cool from a player thing. but we had people using Skype. I don't have anything like that, so I had to basically have my phone plugged in on the Wi-Fi and use Discord for its chat function. And the problem we had that really, well, I say problem. There were a couple of things that I really didn't like with it, other than the fact that, again, it's not sitting there face to face, which is what I prefer. I like to sit around a table. I like to game with people in the flesh. But the problems we had was, one, if you talk to anybody, or if you were talking and then somebody else started talking, it cut the first person off. So only the most recent talker talks. Well, that's probably really good if you're trying to do a business meeting, and you know, you can just say everyone else shut up till the boss has finished, blah. But when you're trying to have characters talk and they need to say things, or they need to do things, or you need to tell the GM what you're doing, it doesn't work. It really, really doesn't work. The other thing was, if you wanted to roll dice, you had to type in like / roll D20 plus whatever. And the problem there was, it takes time. You've either got to copy paste stuff in advance, which is always doable, or you've got to have a load of macros set up so you can just like press F1 or F2 or whatever, and it does it. I just find that sort of thing awkward. I like, if I'm going to do something like this, it needs to be simple. And it needs to be straightforward, and I don't think online gaming in this sort of format does that, which is a real shame. Because if I wanted to run something on there, for example, the problem I would have to do is I would have to like hand draw the map. I'd have to do like a grid map background and then hand draw everything on, which takes time, which is why people upload maps. And then you've got to, if you're going to upload a map, you've got to go in, as I say, and set up walls and put up fields of vision, and I couldn't be bothered with it, really couldn't. And once we finished, I mean, we were playing like a 4-part scenario for Pathfinder Society, Eyes of the Ten, if you know that. I'd already run it, but other people hadn't played it, so one of the guys that I had run it for just offered to run it for a group of us, and it was cool. But after that, we just stopped bothering, because only about 3 people out of us knew how to handle Roll20, and nobody else. I think they were in the same boat as me. They hadn't got the time to do it, or they just couldn't get their head around it. So we haven't role played probably since August, and it's really, really frustrating. But I can't think of any other way to adequately do it. But that's just my experience in online role playing. I must, as I say, I have to admit that I do not like the fact that you are not there. As human beings, we are sociable animals. I'm very much an introvert. I don't like going out. I don't like mixing with people specifically. But when you're gaming with friends, and it's not the same. So, yeah, not sure where I'm going with that, but you know what I mean. I'm sure you know what I mean. We're social animals, and we need that sort of interaction. And I think with the pandemic and everything, and people having to use Zoom and similar things for meetings and school and what have you, and you hear some of the mental health issues, I think it's good if you can get some gaming that way. But I will be very, very, very pleased when we can get back to regular tabletop gaming. I mean, I was partway through one campaign running, and I just started another one, which I'm now just going to ditch for something else once we get back to it. It's been a year now since we started it, and we got like 3, maybe 4 sessions in, and before it all went pear-shaped. I can't remember where I was going to go with it. So, but that's my experiences with online gaming. I won't say they've been particularly impressive or enough to want me to keep going back to it or try again, I would rather play face to face. So I'm going to drop this in your court now because I just noticed that this has gone to a 15-minute video. It's me waffling. What have your big experiences been with online gaming? How do you find things like Roll20 or what's the other one someone mentioned to me earlier? Fantasy Grounds? I don't know. Someone mentioned it on a Discord thread this morning. I've not heard of that one. I'm just wondering, did you enjoy it? Would you rather play online or would you rather play face to face? Hopefully, most people would say face to face, but that's my experiences and my sort of meandering thoughts. So pop some comments down below, do a video reply and drop me the link, and also on a separate note, tell me if this looks better with me looking forward rather than down at you for the camera. I will try and tidy the house for the next time. You wouldn't believe I just had a week off work and I've done no tidying whatsoever. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing your comments below. Take care, guys, and good gaming.